Hello, and welcome to CATSweek. I'm Martin O'Neill. At their meeting on January 22nd, the Monroe County Vote Centre Study Committee scheduled what they expect to be their final two meetings for February 5th and February 19th. The committee serves until the election board deems the vote centre plan complete. The plan is currently in its final stages. The board approved the addition of a compliance checklist to the preference of the plan. This suggestion was made to place it there rather than the appendix to follow suit with other counties.
I've gotten, I think, 2 or 3 plans from other counties that they've sent it to me here recently, and they're like, this is what we're working on just for reference. And then all of them have that checklist right at the beginning.
After some debate, the committee agreed on the preference, allowing that County Attorney Molly Turner-King will give her feedback on the draft by their February 5th meeting. The committee also agreed to send a current draft to the election board so the board members have time to study it. Committee member Steve Volan said he could create a draft of the plan, along with a cover sheet indicating that it is a preliminary version.
This is the draft of the report. The final report we expect to approve on February 5th, pending approval from Molly Turner-King. And this is for your, because, well, that's the thing. If we approve this 5 o'clock on Wednesday, so we get to them 1:30 on Thursday, it's less than 24 hours.
Yeah.
A few committee members said they would attend the election board meeting on February 6th to address any questions the board might have about the plan. The Bloomington City Council met on January 22nd, where they discussed Ordinance 25-02, which establishes an outdoor dining program along Kirkwood Avenue. According to council documents, this ordinance is meant to promote vibrancy along Kirkwood Avenue and allow businesses and local partners to organize strategic street events throughout and during the program. Many of the members of the public shared their thoughts on the program, highlighting a number of different hopes and concerns. Member of the Kirkwood Community Association, Sue Aquila, believes that keeping Kirkwood closed consistently will lead to economic growth.
The university understands that we have a lack of economic activity here in the summers. Students just aren't here, and if they're here, they're often online and in class all day long. Allowing for a third place that is safe, that is walkable, that is bikeable, that allows people to gather in a safe way. We don't know if there's another variant coming. We don't know what the future is. But we have a unique opportunity to continue to gather our community. And if you're like me the last couple of days, we need our community. We need safe places to gather together because a lot of forces are trying to divide us.
President of Kirkwood Community Association, Bob Costello, added that much of the support goes beyond just economics.
And most people think we're just here about the financial reasons. It's really about the community and the investment that we have in the community. If you remember when Kirkwood was closed, you could sit at a table and you could run into other people who are walking their dogs, riding their bikes, visiting with their parents, and these were most of the locals. We're not mentioning in surveys, when we do the surveys, the visitors, the tourists, the students, the parents who come with their child to look at the university. It's a really unique thing that Bloomington did during the pandemic, and it shouldn't stop because the pandemic's over. As Sue referred to, and as others in this room would definitely say, we all lead a much more isolated life than we did prior to COVID. And what we do need to do is have more interaction with people and more random interaction, not play dates as we're doing as adults now. We need to run in to people in the community, talk about what's happening in the community, what's needed, what's going on. So I think that has a lot of value. One other thing we haven't discussed is the safety issue. And if you know Kirkwood, it's a 24-hour area. And most of us are not out between 12 and 4 in the morning, but it is very vibrant, to use one adjective.
Former City Council member Steve Volan echoed the sentiments about building community.
I want to encourage the move. I mean, what the pandemic showed was that Americans do have a hunger for third places, and we have a chance to remake this de facto town square, this open town, piazza, a reality. So I want to encourage you to think that way. I'm not sure how that would affect the amendment before you or the proposal as a whole. But I like the way you're going. I just want to encourage more opportunities to make it a place where people would gather a purpose to go.
Others were more concerned by the implementation of this program. A written statement submitted to the Council and read by Council Attorney Lisa Lehner stressed the impact continued closures could have on the elderly and those with physical disabilities.
Blocks of Kirkwood could negatively impact our senior population, those with physical disabilities, and local businesses by restricting people's access to businesses in the area. Navigating around closed streets can be inconvenient and potentially unsafe for older adults and people with disabilities. Closing the street may disrupt public transportation routes, making it difficult for them to reach their businesses, especially if they have mobility issues. Reduced accessibility may lead to a decline in sales for businesses as well. This can be particularly challenging for small businesses that rely on local customers. Street closures and parklets reduce the availability of parking spaces, making it harder for seniors and people with mobility issues to access businesses. For many older adults and people with disabilities, visiting local businesses is a way to stay connected with the community. Street closures can lead to increased isolation and reduced social interaction.
Councilmember Isak Asari, who co-wrote an amendment to the ordinance, emphasized that the future consistency of the program was not only the key to its success, but to its ability to address the aforementioned concerns.
The long-term goal for Kirkwood remains to transform it into this dynamic corridor that enhances commerce, community engagement, urban vibrancy, the type of things that we heard here. And I think part of the idea of this amendment is just we wanted to allow enough flexibility in the short term to address things like accessibility issues, et cetera, while providing a lot of certainty that this is the direction that we're moving in, and the businesses don't need to come back every year and advocate for these desires, while also sort of bringing others to the table. I mean, I think one of the big conversations that both Councilmember Rosenbarger and city staff and I had over in the short time that we were working on this was this sort of broader question of it's not just about creating an outdoor dining program, but about activating Kirkwood in the most exciting way possible. And I think that us as a council, hopefully hopefully the president will establish a committee on budget, for example, and I hope that this is something that we prioritize in our upcoming budget of saying like let's put money not just towards vibrant outdoor dining, but just for vibrant third space activity. Let's build a fountain in Kirkwood or something. No, but generally, like, let's bring people there, let's support businesses, let's do everything to make it the coolest place that it can be, something that we've been saying, I think, all throughout the year. So I think in the long term, great cities, they're built through vision, action, and tonight, I think that if we vote for this, we can take a step towards shaping Bloomington's future. Again, I think there's a lot more to do, and I think as according to a lot of the other plans that we already have on paper, but let's continue to invest in a more vibrant, walkable, welcoming downtown, move forward to make Kirkwood not just a street, but a signature experience of Bloomington. Thank you.
The ordinance establishing the outdoor dining program passed unanimously. At the Richland Bean Blossom School Board meeting on January 21st, the board approved changes to their 25-26 registration rates for Edgewood Early Childhood Centre. Half-day rates will increase to $17. Full-day 3-year-old rates will increase to $37. Full-day preschool rates will increase to $34. Assistant Superintendent Matt Irwin explained why the increases are necessary.
Projections of the upcoming opening of the preschool building and how this will support the increased need for staffing as it relates to the additional classrooms that will open. So that's something that Heather and I have been meeting on monthly or bi-monthly, doing those projections and working out all the timelines of when we need to do certain things, whether that's the need for more custodians or the need obviously for leads and IAs and the health aid and all these different pieces. And so that's something that we've been hard at work on, and we feel confident that these rates will help support the program that we've been providing. So.
Preschool coordinator Heather Kinsick proposed opening enrollment to children who are 2.5 years old, while still giving priority to 3-year-olds.
All kids that are under that 3 That does change the ratio of teachers to students. So instead of 1 to 10, it's 1 to 7 for that age group of 2.5 to 3. So I'd like to put in the enrollment information that priority will be given to students who are 3 by August 1st, and if we can fill those spaces with those kids, we will. But if we have space and it makes sense to take younger kids, we would do that.
The board approved the changes. The Monroe County Council will see a new face this year at their bi-weekly meetings. County Democrats elected Liz Feitel as their new at-large council member, following the death of Cheryl Munson. On January 19th, the party held a caucus. Each candidate was given an opportunity to speak prior to the vote. Feitel said she wanted to use her 30 years of leadership experience to make Monroe County a better community. She began by listing her priorities as she starts her new position.
So, here we are today. My name is Liz Feitel, and we're here to see which of the 8 County Council at-large candidates will win enough votes in today's precinct caucus to have the opportunity to serve and impact Monroe County for nearly 4 years. All the while honoring Cheryl Munson, who the voters of Monroe County elected in November. I am asking you for your vote so that I can do just that. First of all, I want to thank all the precinct chairs and vice chairs here today who are taking their responsibility of filling this vacancy seriously by casting their respective votes. It has been my pleasure to actively listen to and serve Monroe County in some type of leadership capacity for over 30 years. As you know from my candidate statements, conversations, or any other type of communication we've had, I've demonstrated a long-time passion for serving. I won't go into everything here in just a few minutes, but I would be more than willing to answer any questions anyone may have as the caucus plays out today. Serving and advocating just comes naturally for me. I grew up in a home where my father was disabled, and in my experience, those advocacy and serving skills are ingrained early. Now I need your vote so that I can continue to serve Monroe County, helping it make good decisions while gathering all the necessary data relevant to make those decisions, plus asking questions along the way. And I like to ask questions. I find that questions help to clarify the intent of a particular issue so that it can be better understood and implemented. As the County Council goes about doing its business, there will continue to be issues it must review and make decisions that will have an impact on this community now and in the future. Some of those issues are, we must come to terms with exactly how the jail will be built, design, size for inmates, and other services deemed essential to best carry out the tasks necessary to conduct its mission properly. The location has been determined, and now it's time to continue the project. We should study, evaluate, and make recommendations and implement strategies as to why the working age population is declining, as I understand it, the first time in this community's history. We need to make available more affordable housing, working with developers, builders, and government to ensure the area can serve its population with housing needs. This would go a long way to help local businesses attract and retain employees for their respective workforces. The convention center expansion will continue to bring in more organizations and groups to locate here to experience Monroe County and all it has to offer its visitors. We've been informed for years that the demand is there and the center will need our continued support. Tourism continues to draw numerous visitors to our community. We have a lot to offer: good quality of life, numerous local parks, and 3 state parks within an hour, highly rated, and a variety of education choices from birth to retirement. Huge variety of restaurants for a community of our size, numerous arts and entertainment organizations which offer something for everyone. Continued support for visitors coming to our community has the opportunity to influence where people choose to live. Our award-winning public library has continued to grow well past the downtown space over the years. Ellisville and the Southwest Branch are the latest expansions to benefit and serve our community of all ages. The county plays and needs to continue to play a role. The watershed of Monroe Lake will need continued monitoring to assure a constant water supply for our area. As you know, there are always a lot of decisions to make for our community and its future, and I am seeking your vote to be a part of making those decisions. I'm retired and can allocate the time necessary to do the work. I'm known for actively listening and seeking input. I call Monroe County my home for more than 47 years, an easy place to be. I want to be able to provide the same community for my family who lives here along with everyone else. It would be my pleasure to continue serving Monroe County, and your vote will help me ensure that. Thank you.
Vital served as a community service liaison for the AFL-CIO for 2 decades. She retired from that position in 2021, which she says allows her time to devote to the Monroe County Council. During the question and answer portion of the caucus, Vital said that given her background, she could assist with human resources, the election process, and the new jail initiative as a member of the County Council.
So based on my experience and history of working in the community around here, I think my labor background would be very useful in human resources. I can see that being a voice that maybe others haven't had experience in as much. I served as a president of a local union, a staff rep for a local union, and represented folks on the job specifically on a daily basis for almost 10 years. And then I was an advocate for them when I was the AFL-CIO Community Services Liaison for over 20 years. So I have a long history of working with folks on the job and what their needs are and advocating for them. I think I could work with HR to do that. I also think that I'm interested in the clerk and the election process. I was the League of Women Voters Voter Service Chair for nearly 10 years and enjoyed that work immensely. And I think that anything that I could lend to that office in my experience or advocacy work could help there. The third thing I think would be, and these aren't in any order, the third thing I think I might be useful on is working with the Sheriff's Office and whoever else on the jail. I think we have, like has been mentioned, I do think we have to get it right, and it's important to play that out and make sure that it happens in the way that it's needed for the long term.
City Council member Sidney Zulik asked the candidates how they helped out with the 2024 election. Vital said she worked as a poll watcher, attended political party candidate events, served as a delegate for the state party convention, and donated money to various candidates.
Okay, so I started out in the summer and went to the state party convention as a delegate, so I did that. I went to numerous party and candidate events over the election cycle. I did several rounds of check writing to candidates in the party. And then I did 6 shifts of working either early voting or day of election voting as a poll watcher. So I was involved somewhat, I would say. Thank you.
MCCSC school board member Ashley Pirani announced the winner of the caucus after the final votes were cast.
We have a winner. We had to get 30, right? The winner needed to receive 30 or more votes in order for us to be done. In the order from least to most, because I have to be dramatic like that. Matt Caldy with 7, Alana Stonebreaker with 22, and Liz Feidel with 30. Congratulations to Liz Feidel.
Feidel will now serve a 4-year term as an at-large county council member. And that's all for CATSweek. Thanks for joining us. For CATS and WFHB, I'm Martin O'Neill.
for hurting families in Monroe County.
A contribution to children who are vulnerable and in need of an advocate.
A staff that goes above and beyond to support and advocate for children in need of services.
The web of remarkable people who are dealing with difficult situations.
So many young people that are in need of help and trying to find a stable family, a stable place to live. Without the CASAs to make that happen, many of them would be unable to find a good home.
I love being that voice for the child who can't speak for themselves in court.
It takes me out of my comfort zone, and it also helps others.
CASA means supporting our community.
Being a CASA is making sure that your village is healthy and whole, and that the children in your village will someday be able to help the village as well.
A child who doesn't have a voice, maybe in their family situation or a school situation, now has a voice that can advocate for them.
I really enjoy working with children that are going through difficult times and letting them know that I care about their future.
We are privileged with our charge of representing the best interest of children. And so therefore we can advocate for exactly what they need without restriction, focusing on their best interest.
I want to repair the world one child at a time.
Do you know that thousands of children go without school supplies every day? Teachers Warehouse is a 100% volunteer-powered organization.